We're gonna make this snappy. My back hurts. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Court and today we will be going over my December wrap up. Starting off with my December statistic, total of 9 books for a total of 4,074 pages. My average rating was a 3.44. I read 3 books on Kindle, 4 books on audio, 2 physical books. Out of the 9 books I read 2 fantasy, 4 romance, 1 literary fiction, and 2 mystery. Also, as you know, I made a highly ambitious December TBR. There was, I think, 7 books on that December TBR. Yeah, I read 1. Yeah, I read 1. To be fair, 2 of the books that I read in December were 800 and 900 pages, so what are you gonna do? 9 is a very small number for me. Usually I read anywhere between 15 and 20 books a month. However, I did get in a very large slump, read some very large books, and then I got into another slump at the end of the month. So December was not my month. Let's just jump right into the books that I read this month and talk about those and discuss those, my ratings, my opinions, and all of that. I started off the month by finishing Heartless Hunter. I started this in November. I finished it at the beginning of December. I rated Heartless Hunter 4 stars, and I won't go into too much detail because I am going to post a reading vlog for fantasy books I'm reading and starting new fantasy series very soon that will have all my thoughts on Heartless Hunter and some other new series I'm starting. However, the beginning was quite slow, and then it got about halfway through and really picked up, and I did really enjoy it, and I cannot wait to continue this series. I am looking forward to it so much. If you don't know what this book is about, this book follows our main character, Rune, who just so happens to be a witch, and in this world, witches are not allowed. Like, they get exiled if they find out you're a witch. Our male main character, Gideon, is a witch hunter, and he just so happens to be hunting Rune, who is the Crimson Moth and who is trying to help witches escape from these guards and witch hunters. However, Gideon starts to court Rune, and Rune starts to try to fall for him back, to try to get under each other's skin and figure each other out and know each other's next play. Gideon is not 100% sure that Rune is the Crimson Moth, but has a hunch, and Rune is trying to figure out his next play and where he's keeping the witches, because he is the not head witch hunter, but he's high up in the ranks. And it's just a really good hate to love, enemies to lovers fantasy romance book. Another book that I started in November but finished in December is 11/22/63 by Stephen King. This was my first Stephen King book. However, this one, amazing. I rated this one a 4.25. This book, while it is 800 and some pages long, it's a long one, it's a chunker. It is so captivating and had me literally sat and reading and engaged the entire book. I was so fascinated with the story. I was so fascinated with the way that the history and the magical realism and everything just interwove together in this book. Stephen King has such a way with writing, and I cannot wait to read more of his books. In this book follows our main character, Jake, who meets this diner owner who tells him he has a portal to the past in the back room of his diner. He tasks Jake with going back in time and stopping the assassination of JFK. Jake doesn't believe him at first until he steps into the past, and it's 1958. Now, if you know anything about the title, JFK's assassination happens in 1963, so you're basically following Jake in the past because it only goes back to 1958. Plan, meet new people, get prepared to stop this assassination, and think he's saving the world, all in the past. And then you just watch him grow as a person and all of this stuff in these pages. And it's a long book, but I literally read it so quickly. Like, I read it so quickly and it felt like it was over so fast. It was just so amazing. I don't have any other words for it. I would go in as blindly as possible because I don't want to spoil anything or ruin anything for you, but if you like any ounce of history or magical realism, I would highly recommend this book. Next, I read another book on my Kindle, My December Darling by Lauren Asher. I just needed something that was holiday-esque but not too holiday, and this delivered. I rated this a 3.75. I don't remember a lot about it because it has been almost a month since I read it. I remember it was a cute romance. I loved that our characters were in a hospital setting, that they both were doctors slash nurses, and they had like an unlikely relationship but also found love where they least expected it. Our female main character doesn't usually stay in one place. She's a traveling nurse and she's coming home for her sister's wedding, and while she's there she meets her sister's fiance best friend, who they've had like a bickering competition every time they meet. And little does she know that he has all the same interests as her, works at the same hospital as her, and they just keep running into each other. And it's just such a good, wholesome romance, and it kept my attention while on vacation, and it was just all around really good. Then the month started to go downhill, and I got into a reading slump after reading the next few books because I was not having a good time. I finally finished The Striker by Anna Wong. This was my November book club book. It took me almost a month and a half to get through this book. I should have just DNF'd it. I gave it 2 stars, and that was a very generous. This book follows Asher and Scarlett. I can't even tell you what happens in this book. Not soccer. I believe Asher's hurt and he has to take ballet lessons with Scarlett. However, Scarlett's brother's also on his team and he doesn't want him around his sister or something like that. There's a lot of paparazzi. Usual Anna Huang celebrity drama. You know. However, I wanted a sports romance. This is not a sports romance. I didn't feel like there was any real sport in it. It just felt like more celebrity drama, reality TV. That's really all it was. I should have DNF'd it. I personally don't like it. That's not to say if you like this book, I love that for you. I hope that you love this and the rest of the series. This is just not for me, and I don't know that I will continue this series. Then I tried to get into the Holly Jolly spirit with the Amazon originals that all the authors put out. I started with the first one, Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood, I believe, and I rated this one 2 stars as well. I don't remember a lot about this either. I listened to it in a few hours at work one day, just trying to get in the Holly Jolly mood, and it just really icked me out. I didn't like the nickname that they had for each other, or he had for her, I can't remember. But just all around, I did not like this book, and I tried to erase it from my mind. Should have just not even tried. But I was like, maybe it's just one. Maybe just one is a fluke. So I tried the next one, which was Merry Ever After by Tessa Bailey. And this one was even worse. I gave this one 1 star. This is a girl who is like a fashion person who makes fashion clothes, upcycled clothes, and she was making jeans for the male main character because no one has ever been able to make jeans for him because his thighs are so big. Literally. The only thing I remember about this book is that his thighs were so big because they said that every other sentence. I don't even think there was anything relating to Christmas in this book. It was just so bad. And so I stopped trying and I gave up on these because if you read the other ones and they got better, please let me know. Maybe I'll retry them next year. But after those 2, I just gave up. It was just bad all around. So I opted for something different. I needed something new. I needed something better. I needed something completely different. Nothing romance, nothing Holly Jolly, something to get me out of this slump that I was falling in. As good as dead, I decided to finish the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and I was on the 3rd book, so I just picked it up and finished the series. Boy, am I glad I did. I gave this book 5 stars. I feel like this was such a great ending to the series. I absolutely loved this book. This is my favorite in the series. It wrapped up so nicely, and I just could not stop thinking about this book. When I wasn't reading this book, I just wanted to pick it up and continue reading it. It was so good. If you don't know anything about this series, it follows our main character Pip, who is trying to solve and reopen a murder that she thinks was falsely accused. A few years ago, Andy, who was a senior at the high school that Pip now goes to, was murdered. A allegedly by her boyfriend, and then the boyfriend unalived himself. However, Pip believes that the boyfriend Sal did not kill Andy and did not unalive himself. She thinks that there was other foul play involved, and she is here to solve the case. All three of these books are just so good. I'm so glad I finished the series. The series as a whole is a 5-star, and this book is a 5-star. Then I picked up the book club book that I have in Heath's book club on Patreon, which we read The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. I read this on audio. I gave this 4 stars. This was such a fun read, and I don't know if I read it that I would have liked it as much because the narrators knocked this out of the park. You're following our 2 main characters, and they get invited to this famous writer's house. They are both writers themselves. They get invited to like this famous writer's mansion in London. Think like Agatha Christie if she's still alive. That's how I was like told when I started reading it, and that's kind of what I was picturing as I was listening to the book. However, she disappears like one random evening. They get invited to her house for Christmas, and she just disappears like the next night out of nowhere, just disappears, and her entire family is there. And then murders start happening and weird things start happening, and people are coming to attack them, and they are using her novels and her clues to try and figure out who is doing all of this and what happened to this mystery writer. And there's a little subplot of romance, and it was just done so fantastic. I can't wait to read more by Ellie Carter. I think I will listen to all of her books because again, her narrators knocked it out of the park. If you can listen to this one or any of her other books, I highly recommend. That brings us to my final book of 2024, which was Kingdom of Ash. And if you saw my reading vlog for Kingdom of Ash and my full Throne of Glass ranking, you already know that I rated this book 5 stars. If you want my full thoughts, my full rundown of the series, it is in that reading vlog. I highly recommend you go check that out if you want all my full opinions on this series. However, if you've never read Throne of Glass, what are you doing? Stop watching this video and go read Throne of Glass. I give you permission. Oh, wait. Oh, you're back. Okay. This series is my new favorite series of all time. 5 stars. Series as a whole is 5 stars. 6-star. Everything. New god tier, top tier series. Absolutely love it. If you don't know anything about this series, it follows our main character, Selena Sardothian, who is an assassin, and she is tasked to become the king's assassin so that she can kind of help his plot to take over this continent. I'm not really sure what they call it, but he's on this mission to take over the continent, or this little world that they have. So you just have to read to find out. Go in as blindly as possible. Stay off social media so you don't get anything spoiled for you. Read it because it's great. And those are all 9 books that I read in the month of December. This wrap up is better late than never, right? If you've read any of these or have any thoughts on any of these, please comment it down below. Also, please comment your top read of December. Mine was obviously Kingdom of Ash, if you can't tell. And please do like and subscribe. It always does help me out. Also, all my socials for any other social links anywhere else on the internet are always down below. I hope to see you somewhere else on the internet as well. And I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.